Bro, what are we doing? What are we doing in this country? What the f is going on? Like, this isn't a game. This type of shit makes me even more mad that the Democrats are not running an adequate campaign against the damaging Christian fascist movement that is growing in this country.
And in each one of these interviews that she's doing, also going to do a CNN town hall tomorrow with us in suburban Philadelphia in Delaware County, Pennsylvania. Her main goal has been to draw a sharp contrast with Trump on every issue at every moment of the day. And I'd be surprised if that's not what comes through.
Stop kissing. Me and you. Scatter.
In these interviews she's doing today, because their goal is to remind voters of the negatives of Donald Trump, because we see in a lot of polling that a lot of voters remember the positive sense of the economy or having more money in their pockets. And the Harris campaign believes a second Trump term could be far more dangerous, and they want to remind voters of that as they go into the voting booth.
We are in the final stretch, David Chalian. It feels like it came so fast. Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Yeah,
John.
Thank you.
All right, with us now, CNN senior political analyst Ron Brownstein and Republican strategist and former RNC communications director Doug Heye. Gentlemen, Vice President Harris spent an entire day in the 3 blue wall states, a phrase I believe invented by Ron Brownstein. Nice to have you here. Yesterday with Liz Cheney, a Republican. The 3 most important states in this election, a whole day with just 2 weeks left. I want to play a little bit of sound from that.
Yes, it is not unrelated. I did see Kevin Gates and his son's new personas. And I will say that Kevin Gates gets points for creativity on his persona. It's a type of persona that I've never seen before.
I certainly have many Republicans who will say to me, I can't be public. They do worry.
The country over party is so funny because it's like, yeah, country is over party. Like that. It's just like, come on. Come on now. Come on now. Like, even on the optics front. Did you see Jon Stewart confront Tim Walz about being buddy-buddy with the Cheneys? Yeah, but he didn't go far enough in terms of like when Tim Walz was like, oh, well, you know, Cheney, we don't agree with on foreign policy. I don't know what you would agree with on domestic policy, but like regardless, Jon Stewart had a brilliant opportunity to just turn around and be like, oh, yeah, well, you did say you're going to first strike Iran, which is definitely a Cheney special, which, of course, he would never do that, obviously. And that's the reason why he has a television show and I sit on Twitch and get harassed endlessly by some of the grossest human beings of all time that sit around in a basement and fester. Have you watched the NBC interview yet? No, I have not.
About a whole range of things, including...
Is it possible that Republicans say they will vote Trump in the polls, but then secretly not vote for him? Mindwave, I'm not going to let you... I'm going to keep it a stack with you, brother. If you're asking this question right now, we are over. Okay? We are so cooked, like in an unimaginable, spectacular fashion. That's an insane question. That is bleak, okay? Now, having said that, there is one aspect of this. I guess you could say that for women. Like there are definitely like some women that probably are in what anecdotal, but I literally had to inform my buddy at school that he could not vote because he didn't register in time. He's a big Trumper. Yeah, okay, you shouldn't have even told him. Get him to vote illegally, dog. What do you mean? Get him to go. Waste his time. Waste his ass time. Get him to walk over to the poll to be like, wait, what? I can't vote? The hell? Why is Harris courting Republicans like Cheney? Because she likes them. Okay? What do you want me to say? What do you want me to tell you? It's because in their weird, twisted minds, the Democratic Party personally thinks that courting the Liz Cheneys of the world, who are so unimaginably, so spectacularly unpopular within the Republican base, that like maybe they'll be able to pick apart some of these suburban college-educated white voters who have previously voted for the Republican Party. I personally think that's a stupid endeavor. I don't know what else to say about it. What? Why don't you endorse Jill Stein? Aren't you a self-professed propagandist? Do you think Kamala will say something that makes you vote for her at this point? I mean, first of all, I've said that I'm writing in Joseph Robinette Brandon. That's number one. Number two, please stop with the Jill Stein. Please, I beg of you, please. Oh my God. Oh my Lord. Every day of the week, dude. If you want to vote for her, vote till the cows come home. Please just stop bothering me. I am never going to endorse Jill Stein, okay? She has similar ideas like you, my impression. Dude, Jill Stein, voting for Jill Stein is like voting for me, like writing my name in, okay? That's what it is. I know you hate the suburbs, but every major suburb county is moving left at a lightning speed. I can quote you a dozen counties if you want the data, and they are all past Republicans 15 years ago, and this is almost completely because of social issues and their kids moving them and new people moving into the suburbs. This stuff moves more stragglers more quickly. It does work, lots of data behind it. So you're saying that like their children are actually playing a significant role in them actually moving in the direction of the Democratic Party because they're more socially progressive. So their kids are actually presenting a socially progressive message, even though the Democratic Party is just like running the faucet of like right-wing sentiment for no real apparent reason, instead of being like, your kids are right, stop worrying about this trans panic nonsense. This is not going to help put food on your table, which would be an objectively better way to campaign in those suburbs that wouldn't also hemorrhage the potential base of support that you might have from said young people to begin with. I don't know. We'll see. Look, all I'm saying is up in the air, and we'll see. But as someone who has said over and over again throughout this entire process, Kamala Harris is up, but she will most likely still win. My most likely still win is not as faithful anymore. Okay? That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. I do not think that there is ever a reason to campaign this hard with Liz Cheney. The only people that care about Liz Cheney are Democrats. I promise you, there are no Republicans that are like, oh, this Liz Cheney thing actually helped me. I know this because I listen to NPR that want to propagandize this position as a successful one, and even they failed to do so. And they straight up will openly admit, they're like, most of the people that we interviewed were actually Democrats, lifelong Democrats, that were excited to hear Liz Cheney say nice things about the Democratic Party. That's literally what they say. They do these rallies. NPR is there. New York Times is there. They rarely ever find like an actual Republican voter. And even if the Republican voter that is now voting for Kamala is there, Liz Cheney does not play a role in this equation. They literally are like January 6th floppers, okay? They're like, oh, yeah, January 6th was unconscionable. I think that, that was a bridge too far for me, okay? That's it. Trump is flipping more Biden 2020 voters than Kamala's flipping Trump 2020 voters. It's so stupid to try this. Yeah. Have you ever considered being political? I have not. Cheneys are terrible, but Donald Trump Jr. is going to give cabinet positions to RFK Jr. and Elon Musk. Lifelong conservatives can't think that this is a good idea. Dog, lifelong conservatives are voting for Donald Trump by 94%. Okay? 94%. That's Donald Trump. That's worse than the two people that you brought up in the eyes of like the Americans. This American hears RFK Jr.'s voice and goes, yeah, that's a healthy guy. Okay? I want him to be in charge of the food. This American looks at Elon Musk and goes, well, that guy is a beacon of charisma. And I think he's a brilliant billionaire stargazer. That guy should be in charge of something space related. But the average American, perhaps in the most spectacularly foolish way, looks at Donald Trump and goes, that's a good president. That was a good president, and I can't wait for that good president to come back. So that is literally worse than RFK Jr. and Elon Musk. Okay? And those guys are voting for Donald Trump. I don't know how you shake these people. I don't know how you break the drunken stupor that these people have found themselves in. But I do know how not to do that, which is going after a person who, by Trump's own admission, lost her race by like an insane percentage that has no constituency in the Republican Party whatsoever. They're mainly economic right, socially mainstream lib, not left. They don't care that much about taxes anymore. They have money, and it's marginal for them now. Rallies are mainly just D's law. I will tell you, once a suburb wine mom or a grumpy dad votes D, they won't ever admit they voted R in the past. It's weird. Then why are Dems doing this? Don't they have internal data that shows that doesn't work? Well, IDIGDR is directly communicating what the Democratic Party's internal assessment is, which is something that I already mentioned. Okay? I mentioned it. I mentioned it myself. If you recall, I told you, they think this will flip the suburbs. pretty aggressively. I think that the suburbs that were going to be flipped are going to be flipped for other reasons, like how bad Donald Trump is. You don't have to constantly hammer on this incredibly stupid way of being like, we love the Republican Party. We want to be Republicans. They're not voting for the Republicans. They want to vote for you. They want to vote for you because you are not Donald Trump. Those people are already on board. Stop messaging to them. Message to the people who are going to vote for the couch instead of you come November. Oh my God. Them logic behind the Cheney stuff. This is supposedly the logic behind Kamala embracing Cheney. Lo and behold, there's no actual data that it meets people where they are. They just want to change the conversation, i.e. the same exact logic behind left-wing strategies that they have rejected. Based on a detailed analysis of voting from 2016 on, Podhorzer shows that Democrats have been winning elections due to an anti-MAGA majority that has formed thanks to a higher turnout of less partisan voters who are voting against Trump and MAGA Republicans, not necessarily for Democrats. In 2020, Biden won the key electoral college states because enough of those who were not enthusiastic about voting for Biden were sufficiently motivated by the prospects of a second Trump term to vote against Trump. But Podhorzer warns, right now, evidence suggests that many of these same voters are less alarmed than they could be about the consequences of a second Trump term. You want to know why? Because in the repackaging of conservatism, but like lighter, they unironically adopted some of Trump's vision. So all of these people are technically, every single time these run around and say, no, we're going to be the border party. We're going to be the border party. No, we're going to tackle criminals. We're going to hug and kiss the cops, which everybody loves cops in America. Sorry, that's just the truth. But that's besides the point. When they say we're going to be the border party, we're going to be the border party, they literally are softening and normalizing Trump's appeal. Okay? This is what I keep explaining. You can't present him as an extreme if you're running on his campaign that he ran on in 2020. I'm losing my mind. I've been saying this for months. I have tweeted about this probably 800 times. I have extensively talked about this for the past 5-6 months now. Not even for the past 5-6 months. I've been saying it nonstop since 2021 on the issue of immigration. And I've especially been warning the Democratic Party since last October, before October 7, when Biden unveiled his right-wing immigration package. Oh my God. No shot, mute. What does that even mean? Mute. No, insane. I'm with you. The feeling. Inside, I'm ugly. Stop drinking. Stop drinking and writing. Anyway, think about how bad a second Trump term would be. This is why we are doing Trump's first term a second time. Yeah, it just doesn't make sense. It does not make sense. It does not make sense. I do not think I don't think the Democratic Party is recognizing, the dangerous game that they are playing. I mean, they have been doing this for years and years and years, for the record. So they're going specifically for the 70-plus granny constituents who are like, I agree with his policies, but his tweets are just too mean for me. Yeah, they're going to vote for Donald Trump. I'm telling you right now, 70-year-old grandmothers are going to vote for Donald Trump. They are going to vote for Donald Trump, as they did like every single time Donald Trump has ran. Yeah, I saw this. Kamala Harris campaign kicked out a prominent Muslim Democrat from the vice president's rally in Michigan on Monday, further driving a wedge between the Democratic Party and Arab and Muslim Americans. Ahmed Ghanim, a Democrat, says he accepted an invitation to the event and was seated when a campaign organizer ordered him to leave. The campaign says it regrets the action and its impact on Dr. Ghanim and the community. They're so dog. Liberals are going crazy mode on. Did we react to Trump calling Kamala Islamophobic?
Why would Muslims support Lion Kamala Harris when she embraces Muslim and very person Liz Cheney?
Which message resonates with voters? Okay. Kamala Harris hates Muslims and Liz Cheney wants to do in the Middle East. I love Liz Cheney. I think she's cool. It's so funny because he is the Muslim ban guy. I know. Not matter. Oh my God.
Who, by the way, lost for Congress in the biggest margin in the history of politics. She lost by almost 40 points. The reason she has that honor is that most people most people wouldn't have stayed in. A congressperson that's in that position normally retires before the election, which would have been a good idea for her to do. But Liz Cheney's a total loser. But her father brought years of war and death to the Middle East. Many Arabs, many Arabs and Muslims. And now Lion Kamala has embraced Liz Cheney. She embraced her. And why would...
Oh, New York Times today had an article about what you've been yelling about some time now, that the Dems need to speak on what Trump's first term looked like. Yeah, if you want to run an anti-Trump campaign, there's a better way to conduct it. It is not by running towards Trump's policies. It is by actively reminding the people in the suburbs why they hated Donald Trump's presidency, how much they were laser focused on the television, how much they had to deal with their relatives that became crazier and crazier, how much misinformation was being spread. These are the things that privileged, college-educated white voters do actually hate, okay? Just hit that line. You don't have to put Liz Cheney on there to be like, see? There's a way to do this without actively hemorrhaging other groups that find this kind of behavior repulsive, okay? Like, they're not even, the other side of this is liberals aren't even going, Trump did the Muslim ban. You want to know why? Because they're also anti-Muslim. That's my problem. That's what I keep repeating over and over again. They're also anti-Muslim, dog. That's it. That's it. They're Islamophobic as shit too. And they're actively pushing away people that care about this stuff. They're actively pushing away people that care about war, that don't want war, that fancy themselves to be anti-war. Even if it's just like from an optics perspective. They can't talk about Trump's insane immigration policies, which was a massive polarization point for the Democrats in both 2020 and all the way throughout his administration. Okay? Brogan is come on, dog. Like, come on. She's already been banned, and you're over here being an insanely piece of shit, dude. This is what I'm talking about, by the way. This is precisely what I'm talking about. Also, this is so unimaginably Islamophobic that you are going to probably get a site-wide ban. You know that, right? What a stupid person you are. It's crazy that this is exactly the type of shit that Muslims have to deal with on a daily basis. Nobody gives a... What do you have to say for yourself, Kizzy Scheiper? What do you have to say? You proud of yourself for that one? You lost the debate, the train, and XUC. Imagine, lol. Can't wait until you up and the left eats you alive. Lol, you think we watch ads? Don't come back tomorrow, please. Thank God you're playing this. I was trying to get some sleep. React harder. Like, what a sad existence this is, man. God damn. You think this is a good way to represent XQC's community out here? Ay, ay, ay. It's crazy. Like, isn't XQC live right now? Why the fuck are you here? Go watch him instead. Oh, I guess he's not live. I guess he's on Kick probably. Ay, ay, ay. Did you see this? Holy shit. What is this?
To report that I just performed an abortion for a victim of rape. He starts asking me all these questions. He said, and how old is the mother? And I said, by mother, do you mean the pregnant child who was raped? And he goes, yeah. You know what I mean, that. And I said, well, this victimized child is 12. And he asked me all sorts of questions about her.
Boom, site-wide ban. There you go. Good job, dude. Yeah, the Egyptian moderators got to this guy. I can't believe that, dude. I can't believe we're seriously being like, Egypt, they can't deal with they can't deal with anti-Semitism, dude. They're Egyptian. Everybody knows those brown Muslims in Egypt have no way of dealing with anti-Semitism. That's crazy. Oh.
And how old are you? And I was like, what? What does it matter how old I am? And he was like, ma'am, I'm asking you a question. How old are you? So I gave him my age, and he goes, and what is your ethnicity? And my nurse is like on edge. Like, she's like staring at me and she's mouthing like, are you okay? And I said, sir, I'm really uncomfortable answering that question, and I don't really see why.
Here's a clip by Only Chimp because of the lack of a second thought by casually equating ISIS with random Muslims.
Where in the world is the woman a captive to the man outside of like ISIS and like super conservative, maybe like Pakistan or some shit like that?
His dreams.
Where in the world?
ISIS in Pakistan? Jesus Christ.
I need to answer what my ethnicity is. And he goes, ma'am, I asked you a question. I'm telling you what the computer is asking me to ask you. Can you please just answer the question? So I answered the question, and he asked me a couple things more. And then we ended the conversation, and I said, officer, is there a report number? And he goes, nope, there is no report number. And then I left, and I got home, and he had left a message while I was driving on my cell phone.
Yes, this is Richland County Sheriff's Department. I forgot to give you the case number.
Except I never gave him my cell phone. I never gave him my cell phone. I didn't call him from my cell phone. I never gave him my cell phone. I called from the office.
Bro, what are we doing? What are we doing in this country? What the f is going on? Like, this isn't a game. This type of shit makes me even more mad that the Democrats are not running an adequate campaign against the damaging Christian fascist movement that is growing in this country. Oh my God. Oh my Lord, dude. This is straight up barbarism in full display. This is just straight. This is, I don't get this ad. It's not an ad. It's a New York Times opinion piece on a doctor that performed an abortion, a pediatric and adolescent gynecologist who left South Carolina after the Dobbs decision because she got threatened by a cop. Not threatened, but like a cop opened up an active case because she performed an abortion on a 12-year-old victim of rape. This is the United States of America, okay? Not an ad. It's a real thing that's happening. Madness, dude. Complete madness. Not to bring this back around to this, but like, I don't want to hear jack shit from people who defend us about how the Middle East doesn't give women's rights like driving, etc. Yeah. It's also not true. They're talking about Saudi Arabia, which is our ally. So, what? What is happening here? I don't want to look at this. I think you'll like this. Oh, where are they now? Hasan fan channel. That's sick that they did an edit of this. The Dems win even if they lose because their entire purpose is to stop leftward movement. We saw how anti-democratic they were in 2016 and 2020. With the primaries, they care about limiting public imagination and rehabilitating Republicans. I know Austin did. I told him as much this morning. I was like, dude, you have nothing to worry about. You're someone who is incredibly informed on this stuff. And not only are you incredibly informed on this stuff, you also have like genuine, valid concerns that you can ask Bernie Sanders. So just like lean on that and you'll do fine. And I'm sure he did. His internet died during the interview. Wait, no way. Yeah, we already covered this. The Nation's editorial director. The Nation's editorial director said this. Polls show Harris is actually flipping fewer Trump 2020 voters than Trump is flipping Biden 2020 voters. That has been the case not only in polls from Suffolk University and Fox News, but even in New York Times Siena College poll. It showed just 3% of Trump's 2020 backers voting for Harris, while 4% of Biden voters broke for Trump, all of which reinforces the idea that the Republican electorate and former Trump backers aren't exactly following Cheney's lead in any large numbers. This is the least shocking turn of events I've ever heard. Have you ever talked to a Republican? Have you ever talked to a Republican? Have you ever talked to a Republican, like a real one? Okay. Now, some will say, well, it depends on where that turnout is happening. If the 3% turn is happening in key swing states versus the 4% turn is happening across the rest of the states, then that favors the Democratic Party. But that still shows that this is a completely idiotic assignment. Okay. I cannot wait for everyone to turn around and be like, I'm the reason why Kamala Harris lost. I don't know. Edinger Mentum is predicting a 2022-like result based on the red polling dumping that's happening. I know. Here's some suburb data. I know that was a while ago, but I wanted to share anyway. I made this with other election nerds. There are collar counties around ATL, all the suburb counties. In the left column, there's a lot of negative numbers. Negative is voting for Republicans. Then in 2020, a lot of positive numbers, massive swings year over year. Yeah, I also think that this is because of demographic changes that are happening in these suburbs, for the record. A lot of non-white people are moving into at least in the Atlanta area. If she loses, it's because she enabled depressing turnout, most importantly in Michigan. No, that's only one of the many different reasons why she will lose. Okay, it's probably like the third most important reason that she will lose if we're being really real. If she's losing, it is because she ran a dog shit campaign by refusing to disassociate from Biden. Okay, number one, first and foremost, refusing to capture the momentum that she had early on and capitalize on it by addressing the real economic harm that Americans were feeling, by simply saying, oh, $50,000 in tax cuts for startups. Like, that's what we're going to do. If she loses, it is entirely because she did not separate herself from Joseph Robinette Brandon and ran towards him, which is the absolute stupidest thing she could have done. And I don't want to hear from a single person that I was wrong on that. I was 100% right on that. And polls from Blueprint and many other pollsters show that reality. Messaging polls show that people hate that Kamala Harris constantly ran towards Biden, when the entire reason why she was running to begin with without a primary is because of how devastatingly bad Joe Biden was polling. It's so stupid, okay? It's because she looked at the momentum that she garnered, the attention that she garnered, and then spat on it and then cut it directly by running to the middle, by attacking to the middle. You were wrong on the Kamala anointment. We needed that damn primary, even if it was a shit show. I can't blame you for being optimistic. No, dude, the open primary would have been a chaotic shit show as well. You're not wrong. I will admit this. I think that primary would have probably brought forward a much more viable candidate. But the one strong suit that the Democrats had was that they are not chaotic, okay? That they're competent. And ultimately, what I said was, if Kamala Harris actually communicates a change and runs a 2008 style campaign, she will win. Like, assuredly, she will definitely win if she did that. If she doesn't do that and tack to the middle, she will lose. That's what I said from day one. It was a massive gamble, but it's basically like the same. It's also the same weird reason why they chose Tim Walz and then neutered him. They chose Tim Walz and they neutered him. They should have just gone with Josh Shapiro if they were going to do this weird race to the middle shit. You said Biden has good policies, but was a bad messenger, but whatever. Oh my God. Dude, there is never a moment where I have ever said that Joseph Biden's policies on immigration were solid. There's never a moment where I've said Joseph Robinette's policies on, you know what I said Joe Biden has good messages, but is a bad messenger on? When he said he's going to do rent caps, okay? When he's going to cap the price of rent at 5% at the federal level. That's what I said was a good Biden policy, but just a bad messenger. Okay? That's what I was talking about directly. I didn't say that Joseph Robinette Brandon's policies on immigration, tacking to the right, is a good idea. Dude, you said that over and over again in July. Oh my God. Oh my God. I want to... Brother, your misunderstanding of my analysis is not my problem. Okay? The Biden administration has been more progressive on labor unions in terms of its communication, in terms of the NLRB. It's not an analysis of what you were saying on stream. I want to Brian me. I'm Brian myself. I wouldn't grace you with qualifying it as an analysis. What? Grace me with what? Who the f are you, dude? Shut the up. Grace me with qualifying it as analysis. Biden's policies in terms of addressing the harm that people were experiencing were good, okay? That was good. Rent caps were good. The NLRB is good. The FTC is good. Lena Khan is good. Who the f do you think you are gracing me with shit? What the f is this? All the freaks are running around today. Grace you. Oh, it's so funny that I've been railing against Biden, especially in terms of obviously his old age, but railing against Biden specifically on him tacking to the right and undermining the campaign that he successfully ran in 2020 on immigration. And you're over here being like, oh, you said all of his policies are good. No, dude. I said I wouldn't vote for him. Are you stupid? I literally openly said I'm not voting for Biden. I will never vote for Joseph Robinette Brandon. Mass. Absolute mass. You think I was saying I will never vote for Joseph Robinette Brandon because I think his policies are good, but I just don't like the way he's saying them? Are you stupid? I thought you were writing Biden. It's a joke, man. Shut the up. It's like, yeah, it's like bringing up the fact that I say, let's go Brandon all the time. That means I must be in favor of him or some shit. Come on. I think Kamala Harris being the second in presidential line of succession to a sitting president who decided to step down from re-election is a strong enough case. It's not like she's an unelected person. She won 81 million votes alongside Biden. I never really understood the complaint about not having a primary. Is it any different if Biden left the office completely and she became sitting POTUS and running for re-election? At least in that regard, you could have Kamala Harris like demonstrate her policy acumen, you know what I mean? Or her leaderships for a short period of time. We've reached Pokemon Go to the polls.
I gotta say, you know, I have done a lot of rallies, so I don't usually get nervous. But I was feeling some kind of way following Eminem. I mean, I noticed my palms are sweaty, knees weak, arms are heavy, vomit on my sweater already. Mom's spaghetti. I'm nervous, but on the surface I look calm and ready to drop bombs, but I keep on forgetting.
What are we doing? What the are we doing? What are we doing? What are we doing? What's going on right now? What are we doing? What is happening? What are we doing, man? What's happening right now? I feel like I'm losing my mind a little bit. What do you do about this? About neither candidate will help us? I don't. Yeah, I agree. Show me more celebrities, please. Obama and Eminem. I'd listen to that mixtape. Bro, we got no motion, dude.
And here to tell you much more about that, President Barack Obama.
I sure hate my material wait, what? We are going after the whitest voters ever. I sure hate my material conditions improving. Yeah, me too. Oh my God. I've seen normie content. I hate to admit it because it caused me physical pain, but this actually does go hard for normies. I hate it, but it's true. Yeah, sure. I don't know what else to say. Made it hotter as you requested. I did not request that. Whining about the overuse of the word vis-a-vis Palestine is like getting pissed at the weather report. Sorry, it's raining. Let's continue with this.
Why would a Muslim or why would an Arab want to vote for somebody that has Liz Cheney as her hero? Liz Cheney is a totally failed.
I feel like the people in the back are be like, yo, shut the fuck up about Muslims, dog. I don't want to hear about no Arab. Maybe this Kamala person is actually right. Yeah, losing the Muslim vote. Trump is up with Arab Americans per a poll from Arab News. Losing the Arab American vote to the man who did the Muslim ban. That's the Democratic Party we all know and love. Oh, yeah. They vote conservative because they have conservative values. Hope this helps. That's really interesting. Except it's also not true. But that's cool. Be more racist. That'll certainly bring Muslim votes back to your side, dude. That's awesome. That, for the record, is historically untrue. Okay? American Muslims since 9/11 have so consistently and so overwhelmingly voted for the Democratic Party. Can you tell me why they've done so? Yeah, Michigan Muslims voted for like Biden by 70% in 2020. Muslims are more liberal on many issues. Muslim voters in America are young. They are actually not conservative with the exception of like one mayor. Okay? Oh my God. Cool PA tweet I just saw /J. 180,000 registered new Amish voters in Lancaster, Pennsylvania, thanks in huge part to Scott Pressler. You know it's a huge deal when the Amish start getting involved in politics. What do you mean? This is not a new situation at all. Donald Trump has been doing this for a while. Trump, in many ways, due to his own personal limitations of like exhausting every base of support that he possibly could from high propensity voters, has always tried to eke out a victory anywhere he can. He's like, oh, are there 10,000 people that like a very specific thing? I'll do that. Here, I'll give you another example. He gave like, I forget what it was, but I think in North Carolina, if I'm not mistaken, I remember very clearly that he offered an indigenous tribe federal recognition. Okay? He did that because he wanted to win the extra votes. He's the type of dude who at least has, to a certain degree, okay, he's the type of dude who will literally go, oh, there's 100,000 Amish in Pennsylvania. I'm going to get them to vote. He did the weird lobster policy thing for Maine. Yes. And it's not him personally doing that. There are only 80,000 Amish people living in all of Pennsylvania. It doesn't matter. My point is not necessarily that the Amish vote is going to swing it for Trump. My point is, if there are 80,000 votes that he can win, he will do something for them. He will hyper target them. He will offer them something. He will go to their communities. Kamala Harris, on the other hand, does the exact opposite, where she's like, oh, vote for me because otherwise Trump is going to win and he's bad. Also, 4 years ago, his policies were bad when we said they were bad, but now we're running on his policies. Also, if there are hundreds of thousands of Arab voters that are like, bro, we are not voting for you, our family members right now, then you suck my. Okay, we want Liz Cheney. That is my point. My point is Trump literally doesn't leave any crumbs on the table. On the national stage, he's dog shit. He just keeps crying about like some of the most insane stuff. Okay? He keeps running the most indecipherable, incomprehensible campaign. He talks about Arnold Palmer's, okay? But then there's moments of old Trump, okay? When he goes to the McDonald's and does the McDonald's thing. Okay? That's old school Trump. That's it. That's him at his best. Trump, new school Trump, who doesn't have the juice nor the sauce, says Haitian immigrants are eating cats and dogs. That's absolutely gross for a country that, even for the Republican Party, which, you know, apparently according to the Axios poll, 70% of them want militarized concentration camps for undocumented citizens, undocumented migrants. He's still, even those people look at that and go, no, dog, that's a bridge too far. Okay. I think you're being a little crazy. Maybe you're being a little, I'm still going to vote for you, but goddamn, that shit was okay. But ultimately, Trump knows personally that he has a limited base of support here. Okay? And in that limited base of support, he's going to do his very best to go after voters to the best of his ability, to go after as many voters as he possibly can. That's it. My Windows Task Manager is fundamentally broken. I don't know what's happening here. How do I fix this, chat? Look at this. This top thing is like stuck. I hate Windows 11. I just have to restart the PC probably. Oh, anyway, the Twitch ban has made it to freaking Washington Post. Restart Windows Explorer. How do I do that again? Drag a window to the top of the screen. I did that already. It just full screens it. It doesn't, I can't like drag it to the right or the left corner and have it like auto. Switch to Linux. Shut up. Twitch apologized after some users in Israel Gaza bar for making accounts. Twitch spokesperson told the Post on Tuesday the suspension mechanism was meant to be temporary, but was mistakenly extended until we were made aware of this error this week. Company said that users in Israel and Gaza can now create and verify new accounts. In a statement, Twitch also noted that signups were unobstructed for people using their phone numbers to verify new accounts. Mobile phone verification still worked and represents roughly half of our new accounts created. It just looks like they banned everything because they were afraid of graphic images and they probably just didn't want to deal with this stuff, Rod Breslau said, a gaming and internet culture expert. Twitch saw a significant round of layoffs earlier this year. Yeah, that's probably playing a role here. That account creation was blocked in both Israel and Palestinian territories and inflamed tensions on Twitch, further embroiling the platform and discourse around the conflict. On Monday, the platform suspended multiple Arab and Middle Eastern streamers after a prominent Jewish content creator in the Anti-Defamation League accused Twitch of having an anti-Semitism problem. Anyway, I'm not going to do the right click on your broken window type shit. I'm not going to do any of that. Also, yeah, Financial Times. Israel launched a dozen attacks on UN troops in Lebanon, says leaked report. Confidential document says 15 peacekeepers injured by white phosphorus. Are you really doing a fundraiser for the slobs of humans, in air quotes, that mod for you? I'm not, but I have no problem telling people to go and support their Patreon. Yes, they're small content creators who got banned because of a false narrative and a smear campaign, and Twitch capitulated to pressure. Yes, it's not my mods, by the way. Only one of them is my mod, and she also is not just my mod, but a content creator on her own. The other people are not my mods, and yes, they are human. No matter how much of an Islamophobic, anti-Arab piece of shit you are, they are human being. Very much more human being than you are, dipshit. Bro, she wished PTSD on soldiers. What the fuck are you on about? That's not what she got banned for, dumbass. She got banned for saying, alongside numerous other Arab content creators for making a meme tier list. Shut the fuck up. Also, what are you talking about? I've said worse shit than she has about a specific troop by the name of Dan Crenshaw, and I got banned for it too. Okay? They even banned Vio, who was sitting on the panel just for the crime of wearing an egg costume. It's great. Anyway, like, what the dude? What the fuck is this? He said he said it's sarcastically dumb. What's wrong with the world? I'm tired of storytelling, literally. I like that you're going out there with your voice, man. Happy Mother's Day. Love this. Free everyone. Keep doing the Lord's work. Months later comes back. How is it to not want illegal immigrants? What the f happened to this guy, bro? What is going on, brother? What is happening to the likes of the Matt Haydens of the world? How do you go from like, man, I love you, dude. You're awesome. I hate Donald Trump. I love you. That's Hasan says so much you don't. The vibes are appropriate. The news is just bits now. Big day, big day. Did you do that, Jesus? To like, how is it racist not to want illegal immigrants? Like, how did this happen? How, like, I don't understand it. How did you get hit with a brain rot, Ray? Like, we go from like Danke's top of the hour outbreak to Klansman. Like 4 months, dude. That's not that long. What's wrong with the world? I'm tired of storytelling, literally. I like that you're going out there with your voice, man. Happy Mother's Day. To just like, how is it racist not to want illegal immigrants? Like, how is that possible? I don't understand it. Been here for a year or two, and has been a supportive fan, and now he's just like, I hate undocumented immigrants. I hate illegals. How does this happen? Like, actually, he responds to thirst traps on Twitter, Lamau. No, I just don't know. I don't know. I can't comprehend it. Like, I've never had such a wide swing in my moral convictions. Not wanting open borders, Klansman equals HasanAbi. It's not wanting open borders, Klansman. You're an idiot. Yes, dude. Yes. Okay. Because illegal immigrants as a concept is simply a mechanism of paperwork. Okay. It's just paperwork. You're just upset that it's paperwork. We could process these people and allow them to integrate into American society in even more meaningful and have even more meaningful contributions from them. Their contributions are already pretty meaningful thus far. So yes, the only reason why people go, oh, you mean illegal immigration? You mean you want open borders? You must be a Klansman. Yeah, because I say that because it comes from a place. That's it. That's it. You can cry about it all day, every day. You just want someone to lie to you and be like, no, actually, it's not. You're right. Your concerns are correct. Give me a single real concern that you have over undocumented immigrants, okay? Right now, that does not revolve around something that you hallucinated, that they're like invading the country somehow, or that they're just like monolithic in their anger and resentment for the United States of America. Give me a reason. Every single reason that you can talk, every single reason that you will bring up about undocumented migration into this country could be solved with paperwork and could be solved with better labor protections for everyone. Okay? That's it. So go ahead. Mass immigration, oversupply of labor, lower wages for the benefit of billionaires. Great question. For the benefit of billionaires, right? No, dumbass. There is no lump sum of labor, okay? That's not a real thing. There's a two-tier labor structure. I already addressed that. I called it already. Paperwork. That's it. If all of the undocumented migrants were documented tomorrow and allowed to participate in labor unions and be able to advocate for better wages meaningfully alongside the rest of the documented labor force, there would be no depreciating wage issue there. Okay. Yeah. Undocumented migrants are to blame for low wages and not the billionaires that you seemingly hate here. It's for the benefit of billionaires. That's cool, man. What about housing, Dr. Piker? Great question. Not only do undocumented migrants comprise a ginormous percentage of the construction industry, so they are literally building the houses. The housing problem is directly a consequence of limited housing supply, not necessarily the lack of willingness to build houses or some shit. Okay? So what are you talking about? Once again, every single issue that you can point to, that you try to blame undocumented migrants on, is actually directly a result of the Republican Party and wealthy people. And yet you are duped into thinking that a person that is poorer than you, that a person that is trying to make an honest living, a person that is trying to have a better future for themselves and their children are actually the people directly responsible for the harm that you're experiencing. Because you're a dumbass. You've been duped. You've been duped by the same wealthy people that you act like you hate. That's it. And yeah, I will openly state that you're being stupid in that situation because you are. I'm sorry. If you think that the economic harm that you are experiencing is caused by a Guatemalan dude, you're a dumbass. You're a sucker. You're a rube. Yeah, dude. Undocumented migrants are the reason why we have to pay you less at your accounting job. Sorry. Yeah, that's the reason why you only got a 2% wage increase when inflation was at like 10%. Yeah, because of undocumented migrants. Come on, chatter. Why'd you quiet down? The ADL is just a propaganda source, right? No, it's the Apartheid Defense League. They only care about defending Israel. That's it. Nothing else. They do not care about anti-Semitism at all. If they did, they wouldn't dilute real anti-Semitism incidents with fake nonsense like, oh, I saw someone say free Palestine and then log that as an anti-Semitic hate crime. I thought it was the Anti-Defamation League. Yes, that is what they call themselves. I call them Apartheid Defense League. What happened to this guy? Why is he not responding? Maybe if you Google a little bit harder, you'll be able to find you'll be able to come up with a response. So you have a couple different issues here, okay? Now that you have heard my counter, if you are still desperately trying to find an alternative reason as to why undocumented immigration is a bad thing, okay, then you got to, kind of come to terms with that, don't you think? There it is, by the way. That's why I say this shit that I say. I bet you in 2020 they did not have these talking points. Yes. Lol, you're racist if you don't like illegal immigration. If you think not wanting illegal immigrants is you're a troll, I'm not. Explain to me why you don't want illegal immigration. And then explain to me what the difference between illegal and legal immigration is. It's paperwork. That's it. Processing and documentation. That's the only thing that's different. Okay, why not come the right way? Great question. Great question. If you're asking this in all honesty, if you're asking this in an earnest fashion, I will explain it to you. It's because the right way, in many instances, a lot of these undocumented migrants are actually coming in the right way. What you consider undocumented migrants are actually documented migrants. As a matter of fact, they get temporary protected status, like the Haitians that Trump was talking about that he falsely smeared as eating cats and dogs, like the Venezuelans that he was talking about that are overtaking apartment complexes in Aurora, Colorado that he falsely claimed was happening. Those people actually got temporary protected status, oftentimes under the Trump administration, as a matter of fact. Many of them came under the Trump administration because Donald Trump actually increased sanctions on Venezuela to destroy the Venezuelan economy, which led to a massive exodus of Venezuelan migrants coming into the United States of America. Donald Trump actually extended temporary protection status to Venezuelan migrants on his way out of his last presidential cycle, his last presidential administration. Having said that, however, people immediately cast aside all of these documented migrants as undocumented because they also recognize the reality that the only difference between documented and undocumented migrants is simply paperwork. That's it. Nothing else. Having said that, a lot of the people that you also consider undocumented migrants are actually simply refugee status asylum seekers. They are actually legally crossing the border specifically to start the asylum seeking application process. This process is actually perfectly legal, even though it's still considered illegal by Donald Trump and many other. Okay, now, what about the people who don't fit the overstay visa narrative? 52% of the undocumented migrants that are currently living on U.S. soil are visa overstayers. You already recognize that reality. That's good. So that means 48% of them are just jumping the border. Many of the 48% that are jumping the border are also legal asylum seekers. They have a legal case to seek asylum. It's just the issue of processing. We need to process them faster. Beyond that, though, there are still people who don't have a legal case to seek asylum in the United States of America. They're simply economic refugees, economic migrants. Okay? What do we do with those people? Are those people doing something wrong? Absolutely not. Why are they actually crossing the border instead of going through the regular protocols? Because the regular protocols take many, many years. As a matter of fact, sometimes 2 decades. Okay? So if you are dying, if you're starving, if you are in need of a job, if your circumstances are completely unacceptable, that you are trekking across multiple state boundaries for 3,000 miles, 4,000 miles at a time, specifically to come to the United States of America as an economic refugee, as an economic migrant, I think it's valid for you to stay. Okay? Didn't we just create a scenario where people just claim asylum, where they have an easy loophole? No, brother, that's just called human rights, international human rights. You are not creating a scenario. These people are actually literally escaping dire conditions and political turmoil that oftentimes we directly caused in their home nation. Anyway, having said that, once again, those are actually asylum seekers. They have a legal right to be in the state, okay? You just don't like that because you also recognize that it's simply paperwork. But you said, why don't they come the right way? to a lot of people who are coming in the right way. But let's say there are people who are not coming in the right way. What's the problem? If we actually process those people faster, nobody is going to trek over multiple deserts and try to cross a goddamn river, okay, to come in here illegally if they had a much easier process to basically fill in some paperwork and be able to get legal status in this country, to be able to work legally. They are not doing this for some secret reason. They are not invading the country. They are simply looking for a better future for themselves, just like you are, because they're human beings, just like you are. Okay? That's it. So we shouldn't have borders and laws in your eyes. Did I ever say that? When I say processing these migrants faster, at what point does that make you feel like I'm not talking about any sort of border regulation or border mechanism? In your eyes, because people are poor or desperate for a better life? And for the record, I don't know why you're casting that aside so easily. These are normal human beings. If this was your family, I'd have the exact same attitude. You don't, because they're different. Why are they different? That's what you need to think about. That's the real problem here. They're different. You've made up your mind about why they are different. They are somehow indecent. They're somehow scary. Why? Okay? Why are you otherizing these people? Don't try to minimize their existence by saying, in your eyes, because people are poor or desperate for a better life. Yes, we should have borders and laws. I never said we shouldn't have borders nor laws. I understand the need for some level of enforcement, some level of regulation. I'm simply saying that we should legalize this process and make it easier and more efficient. That's it. Okay, Discourse bot is actually cooking. I had the talent to be born in Wyoming. Shouldn't I have more right to citizenship? Promised he'd game today if I gave him an Adderall. I was a fool. Is this actually a bot? Because it's funny as shit. Yeah, give me your tired, you're poor, your huddled masses yearning to breathe free. Bro, your merch literally says borders are chains. Yes. Okay. That still doesn't mean that like there should be no regulatory mechanism in terms of entry into the country. Don't be ridiculous. Okay. What the? I don't think you guys understand, okay? As long as there is some level of paperwork that people are following, okay, that's great. Calling someone just for believing a law is a bit much, though. If someone is committing a crime, you're not for calling them out. Yeah. Do you think that crossing an imaginary boundary that we've placed is a real crime, especially when it literally does not have any sort of harm associated with it, but instead it's actually a benefit? This explains why I think this is top of the hour ad break. Come on, dude. I can't believe Obama would promote this. The more people need to know what a monster he is. Like, come on. That's a two-parter. I'm not even going to ban you because it's the last one of the day right now. Anyway, I'm going to end the broadcast here. But goddamn, tomorrow I might watch the Israelism documentary. I will have